Hi, I'm Ellie from crystallinks.com. Today is Saturday, June 1st. It's June, and maybe the rain will stop in New York. But today I'm here to talk about burnout. Burnout goes into your emotional space, your physical space, your surroundings. It could be something internal, it could be something external, such as the climate and the fact that you may have lost everything that you've ever owned due to flooding, wildfires, tornadoes, and everything else that's sweeping across the country. People are burning out in ways I have never seen before. They just are exhausted. They don't even have to be clinically depressed to be burnt out. They just can't take care of themselves. They just can't function. They can't get out of bed. Some of them have tried antidepressants, but that's a different window. So that's really not the way to go. I have my reasoning as to why people are burning out, but when it comes to my clients, they usually bring pictures of people they want to discuss. And I can just look in the eyes of somebody and just say, this person is burning out. They have to watch their health. They have to take care of themselves better. They have to change lifestyles. Now, that's easy enough for me to say. Not everybody has the ability to change where they live, to change their career, to change their relationship, and to change all the other things that are burning people out. It's kind of like we're walking on ice, thin ice now, and sooner or later something's going to happen and we're going to crash through, and it's not good. I tell clients who I see burning out several things. One, I see it in the eyes. Two, I know most of you cannot see aura, but the aura of the person, the electromagnetic energy field around the person is pulled in tighter, as if protecting the person or trying to keep them balanced and focused. As a psychic, I can see that. I know that most people cannot, and some people can read aura much better than I can. They can look in the auric field and know exactly what's wrong with the person. I do a psychic look, shall we say, a psychic exam, intuitive medical exam, I don't know, call it whatever you want, and I can see things that way. But the burnout itself is not just something that happened overnight. Like, let's say I had a husband and my husband left last week. And over the last 2 weeks, I have been sad and depressed. Hasn't happened, but if it had, that's not what burnout is. Burnout is when years and years of life experiences have battered a person down. They just can't cope anymore. They've tried and they can't, because it's just too hard to deal with what reality is throwing at them. Some people, as you know, seem to have a fairly balanced life. Not so much about their medical condition. They always seem to have enough money and a comfortable place to live and a relationship if they choose. Most people seem to be happier nowadays living on their own and doing their own thing and having a partner who lives on their own. But it's very hard, and it starts to build and accumulate like a volcano, and it just wears the soul down. I call it chips away at the soul, till eventually what happens, whether the person is aware or not, is that they get sick. And I don't mean the little sick, like, okay, my stomach hurts or I have a cold. I mean the big sick, the cancers and other things that cripple a person to the point where they are forced to have caretakers, they are forced to have someone take care of them because they simply are burnt out and can't take care of themselves anymore. Now, some people who have been high functioning, when they burn out, they don't realize it, but they do realize this. Whatever it is that's burnt them out, which they may have discussed with a therapist, which they may have done a list and say, okay, I can't live with somebody too much longer. I can't live in city life when I need the surroundings of nature. You figure that part out on your own. If you can, you make change. If you can't, you will continue to burn out. Everything is burning out. these days, really, seriously. The planet itself, which is an extension of who we are, the planet itself is going through climate change and natural disasters. I call them, I clump them into earth changes. It's all happening, and there's really nothing people can do about it. You see it all around you. You see it in neighbors, friends, relatives, and you just look and you say, oh my God, George or John or Mary or whoever, they're burning out. They're just burning out. And the only thing you really can do is take care of yourself. Of course, the obvious with the healing world is eat properly, sleep properly, take care of, your personal needs. That's about all you can do with burnout. Okay, so let's get back to why I think everything is burning out. I believe we live in a holographic simulation that had a beginning, it's coming to the end, and at the end there are external things that are shown to us, such as earthquakes and the wars and the things that you just shake your head and you go, why was this person elected president? Why is this person running the corporation I work for when they don't know what the heck they were doing? You start to question, okay? And all of this compromises your soul. And you start to burn out. When I see burnout, I always send, be it a client or a relative or a friend of a client, I always tell them they should get a medical exam. I know everybody hates doctors, me included, but you got to do what you got to do even at any age. If you're not feeling right, if things feel off, and you can't change them. See, the easy thing for burnout is I want to find a caretaker. That's the easy way out. Maybe I am a single person and I decide I can't work my job and support myself. I'm going home to live with my family. And that takes the burden off. Of course, it puts the burden on the parents who may not want you to be there, so now they have pressure. It is a vicious cycle, and there are no answers to probably any of the things that go on in reality today. There are no resolutions, be you the president of a country, a corporation, a household provider, no matter who you are, there's always a drama, and we know this. So when I see burnout, I do send people to get professional help, medical doctor, psychiatrist, or whoever they want. I know that healers are still very, very big. Like life coaches, it's like, wow, this life coach got me to examine this and that. Once you know what's wrong, and you're burning out because you just can't function. It's really simple. It's not complicated. You have to see what you can do to make the changes. And I do realize that people can't always do that. But they do look for caretakers. And I see this, because I'm in New York, I see this the most in corporate America. The corporate people are burnt out. So what do? They need some money, right? So they turn to not metaphysics, not exactly spiritual. They're not necessarily going to meditate every day or do yoga every day. They will try to do things to physically help themselves, but they look for a career. They look for something that's rewarding and fulfilling, such as being a life coach, such as being a healer, because when you help other people, your soul goes, oh, this is what I'm here to do. This is my mission. This is where, I'm supposed to be. And the soul starts to spark or perk once again. Just know this much about burnout, okay? Burnout is global. It has nothing to do with a specific country or culture or race or gender orientation. It has nothing to do with any of that. Burnout has to do with your emotional and physical surroundings and what you can do to change them. Otherwise, your soul will just wither. I know that sounds awful, but your soul will just wither until it reaches a place where it just says, I'm out of here. I'm just out of here, which takes you in several directions. It takes you to suicide, and please try not to do that without at least getting professional help, please. Or it makes you sick, so somebody else has to take care of you because you don't have any energy anymore. It's become, now they they have this week. The reason I'm saying this is this week. I need to get the article, but they declared this I will tell you exactly. This is what prompted this. They declared burnout an official medical diagnosis, meaning it falls into the realm of emotional problems. And always know, when you've got emotional problems, burnout, or whatever they are, and you're in a bad situation, they will always lead to physical burnout, physical complications. So it's not for me to tell you where to go, who to speak to, what to do. I could sit here metaphysically and say, listen to your intuition, listen to the little voice, because the little voice will give you some perspective as to move here, go there, and then just follow the dots. If your little voice said, leave the city and go live, and you can afford to go live in a different area that's more peaceful, if you're meant to do this, it will happen. The synchronicities will happen. And they won't happen over a year or 2 years. They'll happen like almost immediately. You'll go find a property, and lo and behold, somebody will say, oh, yeah, I just put this up for sale. I finally decided I need to move on. The synchronicities will roll out. Do what you can to help with burnout. Planetary burnout, not much we can do about it, okay? Political, I think a lot of us in the United States are burnt out, and Europe too, and across the world, people are burnt out by their political situations. Not going to comment on that. So try to get help, try to make change, try to find, some people call it a sacred space, try to find a place where you can go and just relax and sit back and just say, okay, when I come here, I can decompress. For now, that's it, but just know there is an article out there, and I will put the link on Crystal Links to the article, and you've probably read it if you have burnout, but see what help you can do, and just know that everything that is going down in the world, around you, externally, internally, is burning out, because we are at the end of a simulation. And at the end, everything implodes and returns us to chaos. Thank you for listening.